Adidas teased a relationship with the Sandbox on Twitter, and the Sandbox's native token, Sand, rallied 25%. I think this further solidifies confidence in the metaverse for investors. So I wanted to ask you guys, we spoke about JP Morgan's research report that said that Facebook was the best investment for getting exposure to the metaverse. Now we see that Adidas is buying land in the metaverse. They have coined the term the Adiverse. Not sure what's going to happen there, but it sounds fun. So Naomi, I'm gonna kick this down to you, because I think the last time we spoke about the metaverse, I asked you about, getting alternative exposure to the metaverse. And here we see that Adidas announced this news and the Sand token kind of skyrocketed. So what did you think when you read the story?
I mean, it's super interesting. I sometimes wish that we would have this in the real verse, right? Like you go through the New York subway and everything is just falling apart and smells like urine, and there's rats everywhere and there's garbage everywhere. And you're like, if Adidas had control over all the marketing in this, if they bought sponsorship of that station, it would be white. You would have beautiful shoes on display everywhere. It would be a wonderful place.
Is this what you think about when you're in the subway?
I think about that when I'm in the subway. I'd be like, oh, I'm hopping off at Coca-Cola station. I think that companies would love that, and I think it would be a better user experience. So I'm actually kind of interested in this corporatization of the metaverse. I'm interested in what kind of spaces they will build out, because these companies have such a vested interest in creating a polished product. And if you look at Adidas's branding, I mean, they're so polished. They're so careful with everything that they do. So I'm very interested to see what kind of an experience they'll be curating for people. I mean, that's not the only thing I'm excited about in the metaverse. Don't get me wrong. I don't want it to be like this space where it's all just advertising and corporations. I think it's going to be so much more than that. But I do think they will have a place. I think they will curate these places. And anyone who likes Adidas, which is a lot of people, probably going to hang out there and enjoy the experience if they understand their consumers well, which I think they do. But you're also going to have what's most interesting about the metaverse for me is that it is this world where you also have this decentralized aspect where you can have anyone coming in and build things. There's no barriers to entry. So it's just going to be such a fascinating world. It's going to be such a mishmash of all kinds of different experiences. I'm really excited to see what that ends up looking like and what people end up building in there. So it's kind of interesting watching Sand token surge. I've been watching it for a while, and it just seems like, I mean, you have these individual metaverses. They're all talking about being having interoperability. That's the word I'm looking for. Potentially having interoperability down the line. We're not there yet. So instead we've got these silos, these walled gardens of, this is my metaverse, come build in my space. Well, I've got Facebookverse, come build in my space. And so it will be interesting when that real fluidity starts to occur, like we've seen in the DeFi space with those, money Lego blocks, and we have all this integration. Definitely here for what that next iteration will look like. But I'll throw it to you, Will, for your thoughts.
I have a really quick question, and that goes back to Jen's top of the segment thought. You said that the Sand token pumping is good for investments in the long term of the metaverse, which seems dubious. I feel like this could be I feel like metaverse tokens could be this year's ICOs. Or this season's ICOs.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And that doesn't mean that a lot of ICOs didn't perform well over a longer time horizon. Some tokens that were issued in 2018 are doing quite well now, and their projects are back on their feet. Metaverse, just there isn't much there. If you look at some of these games, if you go into them, nothing much is built out. And I'm really interested to look at user numbers and see over the history of it, if there is going to be some validity to investing in it right now and seeing what the token performance is in 5 years or so.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm seeing all these rallies as well. And each time I'm like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to get involved with something in the metaverse, but that's already rallied. So I'll just, I'll hang on for a bit. And then you see another announcement and it rallies more. I'm like, shit, all right. Well, I mean, it'll come down now because
this
now
is what we call FOMO, Naomi.
Yeah, it just keeps going on. I got FOMO.
Make investments
it's
based
dangerous.
on FOMO.
Don't jump into it.
No.
This is what we call FOMO.
No, you're right. I haven't yet, but it's definitely on my radar.
600% since Facebook. That's nuts.
Oh,
it says 600%.
I know, it is
since
crazy.
Metaverse. announcement.
I want to say
That's
when I
bad.
was at NFT NYC, there was just general disdain towards Zuckerberg and the Facebook metaverse. And I had the opportunity, I spoke to the Sandbox COO, Sebastian Bourget, I believe his name is. And they had just announced that they raised the $93 million Series B. And I know I'm such a nerd. I took notes while he was talking just in case we had an opportunity like this. So he said that the money that they raised, he said that they're positioning the Sandbox as an alternative to what the closed communities are doing. They're no different than what they used to be before. So he's trying to, I guess, tell people that Facebook is no different than what it was before. And that's not the real metaverse. And I just wonder if we can say that right now, because we don't really know what Facebook's plans are for the metaverse.
Well, we can definitely ask him more questions on Monday. He will be coming on the show on First Mover.
Wow, look at that transition.
No, Sebastian. He's coming on First Mover. But we can definitely dig into that, get more information about what he means by that. Maybe we can have Christine push back a little if she disagrees with that. I'd be interested in that discussion.